Hello and welcome to Brazil. So my wife and I are currently traveling Brazil amidst the coronavirus. So I apologize for the makeshift setup here for any kind of interference or anything like that. However, with that being said, I can guarantee you're going to find this video helpful because in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the power of Instagram influencer marketing to easily, quickly, and inexpensively launch your Amazon FBA product today and in the future. So this is an extremely powerful product launch method, and it's a powerful product launch method that complete beginners can use as well. I'm going to run through everything step by step, and the reason I said that I can guarantee you're going to find this valuable is because I've recently released an Amazon specific product launch course on Udemy and Skillshare where I cover 7 different product launch methods. This is one of those methods, and this is honestly one of the most powerful methods of the 7. I literally took the course slides and I'm giving it to you for free right here on YouTube. So I just want to show you guys that this is valuable. You definitely want to make sure you're taking notes and watch to the end because like I said, I'm going to cover a lot of hopefully some gold nuggets for you, some things you may not have thought of. You may have seen some other YouTube videos that don't cover what I'm covering here, especially specifically Instagram influencer product launches for Amazon sellers. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, really quickly as well, is that this is one strategy. Okay, so this is, just keep in mind, this is not the only strategy. There are literally infinite, hundreds of thousands of strategies that you can use to successfully leverage Instagram influencers to launch products on Amazon. This is one of those ways. I believe it's one of the best ways, especially if it doesn't matter if you're a complete beginner or a veteran seller. This can be equally effective for you both. It's very easy to understand. It's free to begin doing. It costs a very, very low amount of monetary investment at all, which you'll see here in a second. And it's proven extremely effective. And I've actually used this exact method to reach out to an Instagram influencer, which I ended up costing me $14 in monetary investment, which resulted in getting my product in front of an audience of almost 1 million, which more than doubled my sales over a 48-hour period. So I used this exact strategy, partner with an influencer. The total cost came to $14. And that $14 got me in front of an audience of almost 1 million. The result, I more than doubled my sales, which helped me increase my rank, generate more reviews, etc., all of which we're going to cover here. But this is proven. This works. I know a lot. There are so many 7, 8-figure Amazon sellers that use influencer marketing and specifically Instagram marketing and Instagram influencer marketing to launch products on Amazon. So I'm super excited. This is probably one of the best videos I've created. I hope you're excited. Without further ado, let's go ahead and actually get into it. So, all right. Step 1, the strategy. Okay, again, this is one of many strategies. You can take this strategy and then adapt it and kind of grow a new strategy out of this, and this can kind of serve as the base, or you can literally just copy and paste and do exactly what I'm showing you here. Okay. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that watch to the end, I'll be giving you, I have a Instagram influencer message template and a Google Sheet, which I'll show you in a second. I'm giving you both of those for free, literally for free. Link is in the description below, so you guys can access those below. Just want to kind of let you guys know about that, and let's go ahead and get into it. So the strategy. Number 1, we're going to find specifically micro-influencers, which I'll define in a second. So we're going to find micro-influencers on Instagram. Next, we're going to verify that those micro-influencers are legitimate, that they have real engagement, that basically if we spend any time or money with them, that they're going to get us results. That's pretty much all it is. Number 3, we're going to message them. 4, we're going to officially partner with them. And specifically for this strategy, the partnership is basically going to be, you're going to identify micro-influencers with high engagement. You're going to give them your product for free in return for a shout out. So all it costs to you is the product cost, okay? And in return, get a shout out. And I'll show you kind of how this adds up over time and how this can be so powerful, right? And that there are actually influencers who'd be willing to do this. Like I said, I was able to do this with an influencer that it was very close. Now they have over 1 million, but they had almost 1 million followers on Instagram. Really, really incredible. So not a micro influencer, but still a very powerful method. We're going to partner, give a free product in return for a shout out. I'm going to tell you exactly how you should do that shout out. And then finally, obviously profit. So that's rank, get reviews, and profit, right? That's the ultimate goal. So that's the overall strategy. Step 1, you need to get on Instagram if you haven't already. And you may be thinking, oh, Sumner, I'm already on Instagram. I already have my own personal Instagram. I'll just use that. I do not recommend using a personal Instagram account. And the reason is kind of common sense that you may not be thinking, and that is you want to come across as a professional brand, a legitimate professional business, okay, when messaging influencers. So Specifically, you may have a personal Instagram account or you may have no Instagram account. Regardless, you need to make sure you have a business Instagram account for your private label business, for your Amazon business. Even if you just have one product that's on Amazon, then create an account for that specifically. All right? Very simple to do. And just as an example, here's an example of a bio. Okay, if you're not familiar with Instagram, I'd recommend kind of becoming a little bit more familiar. But basically, to create an Instagram profile, you need what's called a bio, which comprises of a few different pieces, including the profile picture, which you see over here is their kind of logo, right? We have the name, which is Luxy Hair. And then we have the description, okay, which you see: transform your hair, transform your life, premium clip-in hair extensions, free worldwide shipping, youtube.com/LuxyHair, shop Luxy, and then a finger pointing down. That's kind of the description, the name, the profile photo, as well as a link. So if you don't have a website, you can simply include a link either to a landing page or a link to directly to your Amazon listing, which you can do if you're just starting off. But ultimately, I'd recommend building some form of website is always advantageous, even if it was as easy as using Wix. I have a Shopify site for my Amazon brands, and including that there. Okay, and I have reasons why. I won't get into too much detail, but you just want to make it look professional. Okay, so professional logo, name, description, website, right? Looks very legitimate. And then lastly, what you want to do, well, first, here's one more example. But then lastly, in terms of content, because you may think, oh, well, great, I got my profile set up. Great. It still looks a little bit bare. It still looks kind of unprofessional, kind of sketchy. What you can do, or what I'd recommend that you do, is you've already taken Amazon product photography, right? So take your Amazon product photos, your lifestyle photos, your product photos, your infographics, all of those, and make several posts. So post, once a day, or if you really want to get things up and running, you can post, multiple times in one day. Although I like to kind of schedule it out a little bit over a few days or over a week, and just post your product photos on Instagram separately. Okay, and then when someone goes to your profile, they see your nice kind of bio here, which is what you're looking at here, and they see that you have some very beautiful, product images. Right, you come across as very legitimate, even if you don't have a ton of followers or anything like that. You're going to be reaching out to these influencers and positioning yourself as a new brand, as a brand new product on Amazon. So they're not going to expect that, but they are going to expect some level of professionality. And I'm not just saying this to make it look good, or I'm just saying this for no reason. This will increase your likelihood of getting partnerships, is if you look professional, period. It's just like if you were to dress professional for an interview, you're more likely to get that job than someone who comes in with a t-shirt and jeans. It's that simple. So get on Instagram, create a business account. It's almost identical to a personal account, but create a business Instagram account for your Amazon brand, your private label brand. Okay, fill it up with some photos. Now it looks good, ready to go, and it does not need to take that much time. Once you have that set up, the next thing you're going to do is on a piece of paper, on a Google Doc, somewhere, you're going to brainstorm. You're going to get into the mind of your customer. You're going to think like your customer. Okay, so think like your customer, like your audience, like people who want to buy your product. And think about what keywords would they type in to find influencers that would promote that product. Meaning, essentially, what kind of content are they interested in? So let's say that I'm selling a lemon zester. Okay, so I'm selling a lemon zester on Amazon, and I want to find influencers for lemon zesters. So I think about my audience. Okay, so my target audience that uses lemon zesters. What hashtags would they search for on Instagram to find relevant content, or to find influencers that could potentially promote my product, right? And by the way, if you're not familiar with hashtags, if you go onto YouTube, you type keywords into YouTube, YouTube shows you videos that relate to those keywords. If you go onto Instagram, you type in hashtags. When you type in hashtags, Instagram shows you content that's relevant to those hashtags. Hashtags for Instagram are like keywords for Google and YouTube. That's the best way I can describe it, because I know a lot of people that aren't familiar get tripped up. So that's all it is. You're kind of it's like doing keyword research, but it's hashtag research. And it's very, very simple. All you're doing is thinking, okay, who's my audience? What kind of content are they interested in? What kind of hashtags are they using? And in this case, right, we have hashtag cooking influencers, right? Maybe like, I want to follow some cooking influencers on Instagram to give me just random tips. So when I'm scrolling through Instagram, that I get some cool recipes or cool tips for cooking, instead of just wasting all my time. So maybe it's cooking influencers. Baking with lemon, right? Or cooking with lemon, lemon recipes. These are examples, right? If I'm selling a lemon zester, my audience is interested probably in recipes that require lemon. So maybe they're typing in, I don't know, this is just a guess, but hashtag, lemon recipes, or recipes with lemon, or baking with lemon, cooking with lemon, right? those different kind of keywords and just brainstorm, write a huge list. There we see recipes with lemon, right? Those are just a few examples, okay? But there's no right or wrong. Just brainstorm. Some are going, 80-20 rule. 20% of your hashtags are going to generate 80% of your results, and I'll show you how that works in a second. But just brainstorm a list of keywords your audience would type in to find content that would be relevant to your product, okay? Pretty simple. Very, very simple. No need to overcomplicate. Next, you're going to take each of those hashtags and insert them into and search for those on Instagram. So in this case, I took the hashtag cooking with lemon. I thought, oh, that's a good starting place. Hashtag cooking with lemon. We see there are 538 posts on Instagram with the hashtag cooking with lemon. We enter. What happens is once we type in that hashtag in Instagram, Instagram's going to show us relevant photos and video, relevant content that relates to the hashtag cooking with lemon. And as we see here, there's a few different, posts right here on the first page. I'm actually covering up the one right here. What I like to do is just quickly scroll through, and I like to see at least 100 likes or more. That's what I'm looking for. At least 100 likes or more. So I just kind of scroll through, and as you see here in the bottom right-hand corner, this particular post has 211 likes. Okay, like I said, I like to have at least 100 likes or more, or at least that's what I'm searching for. She has 200, or this influencer has 211. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. Once I click, it takes me to the creator's Instagram profile. Right? And for those of you familiar with Instagram, you know this, and I know I'm spending a little bit too much time, but I want to make sure that I'm catering to both people here. So it takes you to the profile of the person that made that post, okay? And we can see right here that they have a little over 8,000 followers. Bingo, that's what we're looking for, okay? So specifically, I like to look for two categories. I like to look at Instagram influencers with between 2,000 to 10,000 followers. With this, these are like the true micro influencers. Okay, this is really who we're going after, and this is really where the strategy is focused around. And between the 2,000 to 10,000 mark, really, it's more the 2,000 to 9,999. You can kind of think of it like that, or 2,000 to 9,000, really in that range. Because in that range, the strategy of giving a free product in return for a shout out, right? You give them a free product, they take that product, they use it, they make a post about them loving it, they share it with their audience, and their audience then their audience goes and buys from you on Amazon. And I'll talk about that in just a second, and how you can use that to actually help you rank, generate reviews, all of that for very, very inexpensively. The 2,000 to 10,000 range works best. It can still work, and I've got really great success. Again, I even had someone with almost 1 million followers. I gave them a free product in return for a shout out. But in the 10,000 to 200,000 range, with these, you may have to, pay some money, or what I like to do is in the 10 to 200,000 follower range, I still give them a free product, but instead of saying, hey, here's my free product in return for a shout out, I position it differently where I say, here's a free product, and if you feel like sharing with your audience, feel free to do that. But there's no stipulation. Okay, so with the 2,000 to 10,000, I give them a free product and basically kind of demand a shout out in a very nice, polite, professional way, right? But product in return for a shout out. For the influencers that have 10,000 to 200,000 followers, I give them the product and I tell them, if you feel like sharing it with your audience, feel free, but we would love to hear your feedback. So that's kind of the reasoning in their mind. They're like, okay, they're giving it to me for my feedback. And a lot of times what's really interesting is when you position it that way, we found that out of the influencers that respond to us, about 80% of the products that we give, and we just say, hey, here's the product. If you want to do a shout out, you can. 80% actually do a shout out, give us a shout out, meaning that they create a post, at least an Instagram story or a post with our product and share it with their followers, right? So really cool. So again, you can either just focus on 2,000 to 10,000, just focus and hone in on that, or you can kind of broaden and also look at the 10 to 200,000. But again, just my recommendation is change your strategy depending on how many followers. The more followers, the more that they're going to demand, right? The more kind of reach that they have, right? So the more that they want, where 2 to 10 is less, you can kind of demand more of them, okay? So that's just kind of my recommendation. That's the way I think about it. But again, it's completely up to you, but I hope this kind of helps you organize things a little bit better. Apologize about the noise. My neighbors, or our Airbnb neighbor, is cutting something at the moment. Okay, so once you find influencers that kind of fit that criteria, 2,000 to 10,000, or that 10 to 200,000 mark, what you're going to do is make a list of those influencers, and then you're going to analyze their engagement. And guess what? It's really, really simple. You could go a lot more in depth, but I'm gonna show you a very simple formula that can kind of help you quickly weed out the good influencers from the bad. Meaning influencers that if this influencer posts for you, that they're actually gonna get results, versus influencers that post for you and they bought their followers, they're fake followers, they did follow for follow type of deal, and they don't get real engagement. Okay, I'm gonna show you a simple formula for that. What we're gonna do, you're gonna make a list of these influencers that kind of meet your criteria. All right, then you're going to go to each one of those profiles, which I'm here right now. So you're going to go to the profile, and what you're going to do is you're going to look at the average number of likes their past posts have had, specifically their past 4th through 10th post, okay? How many likes that each of those posts has got on average. And what you're going to do is you're going to plug it into this formula, okay? So average number of likes from the 4th post to the 10th post, and you may be kind of confused, like, whoa, Summer, what are you talking about 4th to 10th post? So when you're analyzing engagement, just kind of a sidebar, and I almost didn't include this because I didn't want to make things any more complicated, but it is important. So when you're analyzing engagement on Instagram, you have to keep in mind that their most recent 3 posts are likely still getting engagement. They're still getting likes. They're still growing, and more people are still seeing them. Okay, so if you take the average of the past, for example, of the past 7 posts or the past 5 posts, the average is going to be lower than if you took the average of their later posts, because those are newer posts. They're still growing. They haven't grown fully yet, right? So you're going to analyze. It's going to be not really the most accurate data. So what I recommend doing is look at their 4th most recent post through their 10th most recent post, if that makes sense. Okay, so 4th through 10th most recent post. You're going to look at the average number of likes. So if one got 10, one got 20, another one got 15, right? That would be an average of 15, right, for those 3 posts. So look at the average number of likes between the 4th and the 10th most recent post. Divide that number by their total number of followers, okay? Multiply by 100. That simple. Again, there are other metrics. This isn't just like the holy grail and that's all that there is to it. There's other metrics that you can look at, but this is a really effective, simple, and effective formula that you can use to just quickly churn and burn, right? This is a numbers game, okay? And especially with this strategy, the cost is so low in terms of giving a free product in return for a shout out from a highly engaged audience that honestly, it's not worth my time to do significantly more analysis and significantly more research. That's just kind of my reasoning. And I'll quickly show you how this plays out. And ultimately our goal is if this number is greater than 1, that's a good sign. If it's less than 1, we don't partner with them because their engagement is too low, right? That means there's not enough people, given the number of followers they have, they should have a certain number of likes and a certain number of engagement. If they're not getting that engagement, it's not worth our time to partner with them and reach out to them. So let's say on average, this particular influencer gets 100 likes per post, okay? And they have, let's say they're a super micro influencer. They only have 3,000 followers. So they get an average of 100 likes per post. They have 3,000 followers, all right? That comes to 0.03 when you divide 100 by 3,000, 0.03, multiply that by 100. And what does that come to? 3, okay? And 3 is greater than 1, therefore, that's a good sign, okay? So again, this is just a general kind of formula to use. If you need my explanation for why, you can let me know in the comment section or in Facebook group. I'll be happy to kind of share and go into more detail, but just use it, plug and play, and it'll work out well for you. The higher the number, the better. That means the more engagement. So anything I like to see, 5 or even over 5 is a really great sign to me. Anything close to 1 or even 2, it's still good. It can still be worth your time, especially with the strategy that we have. It can definitely still be worth your time. But anything right at 1 or less than 1, for me, is just not worth my time. Okay, so it's ultimately up to you, but I want to at least give you a base. Again, give you the base, and then you can kind of tweak and work with it however you want and redefine the formula. But I want to give you something to work with. So that's the formula. So if we see, okay, they have the number of followers that we're looking for, they have the amount of engagement that we're looking for, awesome. What we're going to do is this is a really simple Google Sheet, or it could be an Excel file to keep track of everything. So it's like a CRM, but instead of customers, it's for influencers. So it's an influencer relationship management template. You can get this template for free in the resources section or in the description section of this video. And it's really simple. You can recreate it yourself as well. It's very, very simple. And as you can see here, right, we have in column A, the platform. So keep in mind that this video specifically for Instagram However, you can use this exact same strategy or a very, very similar strategy, similar wording, all of that with Pinterest influencers, YouTube influencers, TikTok influencers, right? This can work on a variety of platforms. So it doesn't just have to be Instagram. Don't limit yourself, but Instagram's a really great place to get started. So column A, we have the platform. If you're just using Instagram, it would just be Instagram. Column B is their username. Column C is the URL, specifically the URL, just in case you have difficulty finding them. It's really easy just to click and then to load their profile. D is the date that you reach out to them, which we'll talk about here in a second in terms of actually messaging them. And I'm going to give you my influencer, the exact template that I use for messaging influencers for free as well. Column D, the date we reached out. E, the number of followers that they have. F, their engagement rate. And by engagement rate, you can just use the same formula that I have. So for example, in the previous example that I just gave, our engagement rate would be 3 because that was the final result that we had was 3. Again, we want it to be greater than 1. So your engagement rate, did they respond? Yes or no? Really simple. And then if they did respond, okay, what date did they respond? And then did they post? Yes or no? And then the date that they posted. Again, you can really grow and build this out more. But this is a really good template to get started, and it helps really keep track of everything. So you don't, reach out to the same influencer twice. That you can easily, if you collect just a huge list of influencers to reach out to, what you can do is you can actually organize the sheet by number of followers. You can organize the sheet by engagement rate. Okay, and then you can specifically reach out to the influencers that have the highest engagement rate, the highest or the lowest number of followers, etc. Okay, really, I highly recommend this. Once you start really reaching out to numerous, to even hundreds of influencers, you want to keep track of things. And it is a great way to measure your results and your ROI as well. You can even say, here's how much we paid, all that. Anyway, I'm going too much into it. That's down a rabbit hole. Again, you can access this for free, or you can recreate it yourself as well. So you want to make sure you're tracking your results. Okay. So what you want to do now, okay, you have all the data you need. You have the influencers, you have their engagement rate, their URL, everything. Now you're ready to reach out to them for a partnership, meaning, hey, here's a free product in return for a shout out. Okay. Or here's a free product for those bigger influencers. Here's a free product. If you want to do a shout out, it's up to you. What most people will tell you is to DM them. That's good. That's only one step. In today's world, especially with Instagram becoming more and more competitive, you need to stand out. And that doesn't mean being obnoxious, because that's a really easy way to stand out in a bad way, but you want to stand out in a good way. And you don't do that by just sending one DM. So it's really simple to stand out. It's not difficult. And here's what I recommend doing. And this is something, this is after talking to some actual Instagram influencers and what has kind of stood out to them, what stood out to me when people reach out to me on Instagram, because I do get a lot of questions on Instagram as well for the Amazon side of things. So, and by the way, follow me on Instagram, AMZ Escape Plan, or at Sumner and Alley. I'll link those below as well, just in case you're interested. You can kind of see how I do things with Instagram. So step one is not to DM, it's to react to their most recent story. So go to the influencer you want to reach out to, click on their story. So it's their profile picture. Click on it to view their most recent story and react to it. It doesn't mean message them, just react. So that could be a heart, it could be a thumbs up, it could be the 100 emoji, it could be whatever, right? But something nice, heart emoji, whatever it could be, and just react to their most recent story or say, oh, that's awesome. Oh, how cool, right? Something really simple, literally takes a few seconds. And that's the first thing that you do. Second, find one of their most recent posts. It could either be like today's post, or it could be something within the past week, okay, or within the past few days. Hopefully something that really stands out to you. Maybe it's something that you actually think is really interesting. Like it, so give it a heart, and then comment on it and you could say something like, awesome content, love this, blah, 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 right? Just a quick, doesn't need to be super in depth, but just really quick, just saying, I love this post, love this content, whatever. So you could do that, or you could comment, love this post, and by the way, I DM'd you on Instagram. Again, you need to get a feel for the influencer, and I would recommend testing both strategies. Sometimes that can feel kind of spammy and obnoxious, but other times, honestly, it could be a really great way to stand out as well. But be authentic, actually like their content, actually kind of view it. It can take a few seconds to kind of understand what the post is about, read it a little bit, and just kind of see what's going on. Make it kind of a little bit of a quick, thoughtful comment. You can just leave it at that, or you can also add afterwards, hey, and by the way, just sent you a DM on Instagram, look forward to hearing from you, something like that. Okay, but again, test both. So you react to their story, you basically react, you engage on their most recent post, and then you send a DM. It doesn't have to be in this particular order, But I'd recommend testing all of these things at once to really help you stand out and give you the best chances for getting a response. So this is where you send a DM, a direct message through Instagram, and I'd recommend sending a total of maximum of 50 per day. So don't send 50 or more per day. Again, there's no specific limit on how many DMs that Instagram allows you. It seems to differ based on my research, depending on your account, how old your account is, how much engagement you have, all of this. But as a general rule of thumb, especially from my own experience, try to send less than 50 total messages per day from your Instagram account that you're using. Okay, but this is when you would send them the direct message, which I'm going to show you the exact template that I use. And then also, last step. I know it seems like a lot, but it really isn't that difficult. Last step. A lot of times influencers will have their email in the bio of their profile. So just go to their profile, see if they have, the email in their bio. If they do, click on it, and send them an email as well. And again, you can send them a very similar message or almost the exact same message by email and by DM. Again, increases your chances of getting a response back. Just something else to keep in mind. Again, it's kind of like getting up to bat, 4 times instead of once, right? Just you have more chances of getting a response back by doing all 4 than just doing 1. Okay. Again, you could go overboard. It could be obnoxious. So that's why I recommend testing. It definitely depends on the influencer, your niche, etc. For me, though, my personal philosophy in general, overdo is better than underdoing. I'd rather cross the line and know where the line is than to never cross the line. That's just my general philosophy. I know people will disagree with me, but test it for yourself. I think everyone can agree, test for yourself. So when you send a DM and possibly also an email, this is the template that I use. You can use this and tweak it as much as you want. I'm providing it in the description below as well. There's a link to this as well. I think I'll try to include both documents in the same link so you get both at the same time, make it easy. And this is how I like to structure it. So I like to have a little gift emoji, right? I like to have 2 to really kind of help my DM pop from all the others, because there's not a lot of others that are using kind of emojis. And again, you could test using it versus not. But in my experience, this really helps make the message pop. And by the way, just another little tip. I have so many, I wish I could share more in this video, but if you wanted to learn more, you can enroll in the course, but I'm not trying to promote it though. But your headline is the most important piece of your entire message, by far. You should spend 80% of your time crafting the headline or testing the headline of any message. That's an email, a direct message, the headline of your description of your Amazon listing, whatever it is. The headline is the most important because it's better to have a great headline and a bad message than to have a bad headline and a great message. Why? Because if you have a bad headline, nobody reads. They're done. Nobody's even going to see your message. If you have a great headline and the message is okay, well, the message is okay, but at least people are reading it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. 80-20 rule. 80% of your energy should be on the headline, testing it, trying different things. Most important. Period. Okay, so that's why I like to structure it this way. I like to have, again, 2 gift emojis. It says free gift. Then I say, hi Sumner. My name is John with John's Brands, and we've just launched a brand new product we think you and your followers will adore. We'd love to give you the product along with a 10% promo code for your followers in return for a shout out or simple shout out, whatever you want to say. Let me know if you're interested, John, right? So if John were to reach out to me, he may say something like this. And again, you can customize this to whatever makes sense for you, what sounds more natural for your brand. That's why I'd recommend, but it's a really good template, okay? And specifically using this exact template so far, we send this out to 10 influencers. We can expect at least 1 to respond back. Of the 1 that responds back, 80% will actually agree to receiving the product and actually agree to the partnership. Out of the 80% that receive the product, about 80% will post. Okay, so again, just breaking this down really simply. 10%. So we send out, we reach out to 10 influencers. Likely 1 will respond, and it's definitely going to depend on the industry, the time of day that you're posting, all of that. But 1 out of 10 respond. Out of those that respond, 80% will actually agree to your partnership and actually end up getting the product. And then out of those that actually receive the product, 80% will post. And again, my data is this way because I have a mix of super micro influencers as well as like bigger, kind of more macro influencers. So I have those 2 different strategies working at the same time. That's why my data is the way that it is. Again, I apologize if there's any noise going on over there. Trying to get this out as soon as possible. So You send them the first message, okay? That's kind of our general response rate. Although I'm curious, let me know kind of what your data is as you use this for your own products. Then for those influencers that respond back and actually agree, it's gonna be very simple. You're just gonna say, hey, we'd love to, we have a brand new product. We're trying to raise awareness. We think you and your audience would love it. And we're willing to give you a promo code for, 10 or 15% off to incentivize them to share it with their audience. That's the whole point, is to get in front of as many people as possible. Blah, 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 sending us your shipping address and we'd love to send you your free product. They say, yes, we'd love it. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out. They give you their shipping address and then you ship the product. So pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about that section, let me know. But for everyone that responds, say, hey, you want to do this thing? They're like, yes, I want to do this thing. You're like, great, let's do it. You ship them the product. When you ship them the product, what you can do is place a removal order from Amazon. So place a removal order from Amazon for your product and send it directly to the influencer's address that they specified. And then when the product ships, send them something like this message. Test this. You don't want to be over kind of spammy or talk to them too many times, but you do want to, make sure you stay at the front of their mind and kind of, get them excited about the product and ultimately excited to promote the product. So when the product ships, I like to send this message that says, your product has been shipped. Also, here's a unique promo code to share with your audience. Give them the promo. We're excited to see what you think. Oh, and by the way, for your promo code, within Amazon Seller Central, you can create a unique promo code. And what's really cool is that you can actually create a promo code with the influencer's name or relating to their name in some way, which makes them feel super special and kind of gives them that authority. And I think that really increases the likelihood of them sharing when they have their name on the promo code. So that's just a little tip or a little hack that you can use. And again, you create that. I have a whole video on how to create promo codes in Seller Central if you don't know how to do that already. Very, very, very simple. Make a promo code, a unique promo code with their name that they can share with their audience for 10 to 20% off is what I recommend. Insert it and then just say, we're excited to see what you think. So when the product ships, you just let them know that it ships, say we're excited, okay? And they'll usually respond back and say something like, oh, we're so excited too. Thank you so much. And it really does get them excited. Then once the product is delivered, I like to send another follow-up message that just says something like, and this is through Instagram DM, it could also be through email, whatever the main channel is, and say, hey, just checking in to see if your product arrived okay. Also, just for your reference, here's the unique promo code to share with your audience. Maybe if they already responded to your previous message, that you just say, hey, just want to make sure everything arrived okay. You don't have to, keep giving them the promo code. Like, hey, you don't want to sound super pushy or super selly. You want to make it sound more organic, more natural. Again, use your own language, take this, run with it, and do whatever you want, and then ultimately test. What you can do is actually, have this message exactly, and then you can tweak it to whatever you want, have a different set of messages, and A/B test, and for half the influencers, you send them one message, the other half you send them kind of a similar message, but it's different, and see which message gets more people to respond back. That's something you can do that's called A/B testing. Really, really, I'd highly recommend doing that. Very powerful, but to keep it simple, you can just plug and play, run with this. You should be good to go. All right. And then, okay, so they get the product. We tell them, hey, it's delivered. Love to know what you think. Here's the promo code again for your audience. Super excited to see what you think. And then obviously a huge percentage of them are going to post it on Instagram and have the promo code. And a little tip of what you can do. This is actually really cool. This is something that I learned from Tomer Rabinovic. So obviously their followers, they have the promo code. They're like, great, but where do I go to find this? What you can tell the influencer, and the influencer will likely ask you the same question, is how do people find you? How does my audience find you? Okay, here's where it's cool. So take the keywords that you want to rank for, okay? And then put your brand name in front, and that's what you're going to tell the influencer. So let's say my products are under the Sumner brand. They're Sumner brand potted plants. That's what it is. It's the Sumner brand potted plants, okay? So potted plants, that's the keyword that I want to rank for, and then my brand name is Sumner Brands. So I tell the influencer, hey, here's the promo code, and to have your audience find me or find the product on Amazon, type in Sumner Brands potted plants, and you should be the first search result. What that does, again, according to Tomer Rabinovic's research, and this has worked really well, and I've got results from this with my own products. So when someone types in your brand name, your brand keywords, followed by the keywords that you want to rank for, what happens is, number one, when someone types that into Amazon, they find your listing immediately. They don't have to go and scroll through, to page 50 to go try to find your product, right? They can easily, it shows up, it usually is the only organic search result, right? It's right there when they type it into Amazon, very easy to find. And then also the benefit to you is that, and I've seen this with my own products as well, is that when someone types in, for example, the word Sumner Brands potted plants. Sumner Brands, that's my brand name. Potted plants, that's a keyword that I want to rank for. Amazon sort of ignores the brand name in terms of ranking and actually helps you rank for the term potted plants. So yes, obviously I would improve rank for the term Sumner Brands potted plants. However, I also increase rank, and that's really the goal, right? Is I increase rank for the term potted plants, even though people are searching and then buying for the full term Sumner Brands potted plants. I'm actually also increasing rank for potted plants. So I hope that makes sense. So again, quickly recap. Number one, using your brand terms in front of the keywords that you want to rank for and telling your influencer, hey, this is how your audience can find our product on Amazon, makes it really easy for them to find your product on Amazon because they'll type in your brand name with your keywords and they'll find your product right there really easily. And then number two is using this method. Assuming people are actually buying, right? They type in your keywords, they see your product, they buy the product, okay? And that's why giving them the 10 to 20% off coupon code kind of helps them incentivize a little bit, although you don't have to do a coupon code at all, but it helps incentivize the influencer to share and it helps incentivize the person to buy. So ultimately, I've seen much better results doing this with this specific method. And like I said, they search for your keywords, they buy the product on Amazon. It helps you increase rank or at least potentially increase rank for your main keywords, right? For the keywords that you're trying to rank for, right? So really, really cool. Highly recommend testing this out for yourself and let me know the results that you get. But that's kind of my recommendation for how the audience is going to find your product, how to use Instagram influencers to help increase rank on Amazon, number one. Number two, what's really cool is these are real customers. These are customers that buy your product in a very specific niche, okay? And the product was recommended by someone that they trust. What you can do, and again, you need to feel out the influencer. Different influencers would react differently. It also depends on your niche. But what you can do is a week later or 2 weeks later, follow back up with the influencer and say, hey, what do you think about the product? Or even, hey, we'd love to know what your audience thinks about the product. If you feel like asking them to leave an honest review, we'd greatly appreciate it. You don't necessarily want to pay them to tell people to leave a review, but if there's anything that you can do to kind of incentivize that, to get them to ask for their audience to leave you an honest review, you can experiment with that or try that. But basically, yeah, you want to follow up with those people that bought your product and say, hey, what do you think? Let us know your thoughts by leaving us an honest review on Amazon. And by the way, you can also ask your influencer, again, depending on how certain influencers get super excited, super pumped, and will do almost anything that you ask them to do, where other influencers are much more just you want to be kind of more careful and kind of more like direct and just, hey, here's the promotion, we're done, thank you, that's it. But essentially you want to follow up with the people who buy, or when you post, you can actually ask your influencer, hey, when you do the shout out, right, when you make a post about our product, if you wouldn't mind mentioning if they could take 30 seconds to leave an honest review once they get a chance to use it, we'd appreciate it, okay? Even though you won't get maybe a ton of reviews from that little line of text of just saying, of the influencer posting about your product and then saying, oh yeah, and by the way, if you guys do buy the product, be sure to leave an honest review. It's a brand new product on Amazon. They need the feedback, whatever, right? You can kind of figure out how to word it pretty simply. But like I said, anyway, going off track, getting back on track. These are real customers. What you can do is you can follow up with the influencers and say, hey, would you mind reaching out and just asking people to leave their honest feedback on Amazon? That's number one. And then number two is what you'll find, again, this is another reason you want to create a professional business Instagram account, is that as kind of a byproduct of this influencer promotion, is that you'll get a percent of their followers now are going to start following you on Instagram. And that's great because now you're growing your own Instagram following organically too. So because these people buy your product and now they're following you on Instagram, you can actually reach out on Instagram and ask your followers, hey, show of hands, who's bought this product? Who's a proud, Sumner Brands potted plant enthusiast? And then everyone that likes the post or whatever, you can DM them or just follow up with the comment and say, awesome to hear. We'd really appreciate your honest feedback on Amazon. If you could take 30 seconds to leave us an honest review. All said and done, this is what gets me just so excited. I'm sorry, I kind of go off track because I get so excited. 1, this helps you rank for specific keywords. Okay. 2, this is very, very profitable and easy to do. 3, this is a great way to generate your initial reviews. 4, you can also grow your Instagram or other social accounts by doing this for almost free. So huge benefit to this. This is why there are so many 7, 8-figure sellers using influencer marketing. Maybe not with this exact strategy. That's part of the reason that I did so much research into this is I saw so many other successful sellers. Maybe they're really good with Facebook ads, really good with Google ads, really good with Pinterest ads, but like almost all of them use Instagram influencer marketing. That was like the one common thread among all of them. They use ManyChat. They also use Instagram influencer marketing. So I decided to really dive in, and I've received great results from this. My wife and I are now doubling down on our efforts during this video and from now on because of how powerful and how great the results have been. Oh, and one last thing is I have a video talking about generating Amazon reviews in 2020. Essentially, what you do is simply use the request review functionality. It's a relatively new functionality within Amazon Seller Central. What you do is you go to Amazon Seller Central, go to Manage Orders, and you can see all your past orders. What you can do is manually request a review where Amazon will send them an email asking for a review. If you're not already doing this, do this right now. Check out that video as well. It's how to get Amazon FBA reviews in 2020. You can find it on my channel here. It's free to do, by the way, and it's very powerful to where if you get all these people buying your product, right, all these different influencers, audiences buying your product, all right, and maybe they're not leaving a review, or maybe you can't reach out to them, or you can't, get a hold of them. What you can do is use the request review feature in Amazon, and I'd also recommend using the early reviewer program. Go ahead and just enroll in the early reviewer program. Both of those combined, that'll drastically help increase your chances of getting reviews, even if you don't directly contact them after the purchase. Amazon basically will contact them after the purchase and increase your review rate. So again, increase reviews, increase rank for specific keywords, generate sales very highly profitably, even more so than Amazon PPC or certain Facebook ads if you have no experience with Facebook ads and other methods like that, and even grow your Instagram following and other social account followings. Okay, really powerful. And the last kind of tip, again, you can do all this manually, and that's why I recommend getting started. But there's this really cool site. This is actually relatively new that I discovered this, called Perlou. Don't know how to pronounce it even. That's how new it is to me. But my wife has actually been using this for the past month or so and really, really likes it. Basically, it's a site where you can find and connect with influencers, I think across different social media platforms, including Instagram. She basically told me, make sure you include this because it's a really powerful platform. Basically, you can get a free trial, and apparently the free trial is very, very effective. Again, I'm still doing things manually. My wife is kind of now handling more of the influencer outreach, but I want to make sure I include that in here. I'll include a link below. Again, just get you don't have to pay for anything. Just get a free account, and that could even help you potentially save time. So I just want to make sure I included that in here. And again, I'm trying to get this content out as soon as possible. Things have just been a little bit crazy with coronavirus, so I apologize for kind of how crazy everything is. But I hope you found this valuable. And lastly, like I said, this is one of many of hundreds of different product launch methods for Amazon. So many sellers only know about Amazon PPC, for example, or about giveaways, right? And that's pretty much it. There's so many other methods. And specifically, I have an entire course. This is just one of 7 methods that I detail step by step. I try to find the easiest, most profitable, most effective ways to launch products on Amazon. I test it with my own products and then basically report back on what's working and cover everything step by step. So if you found this valuable and you'd like to learn 6 other highly powerful Amazon product launch methods, I have a link to my courses on Skillshare and Udemy in the description below, just in case you're interested. But if not, keep in mind, there's a lot of other great content right here on the channel and a lot more coming to you very soon. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you like the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Comment below what you like, anything that I missed that you think I should add, or any questions that you have. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, honestly, thank you so much for your support. I look forward to seeing you in future videos.